is up, my dudes? Welcome to another YouTube video on my channel. My name is Grace and I do lots of dancing analysis videos about nerdy stuff. Sometimes I vlog. I haven't vlogged in a long time, but we'll get back to that. And today we are doing a continuation of my Star Wars rewatch. So every year I rewatch all of the Star Wars movies. I go 1 through 9, I guess. And this time around, I wanted to write down all the things I liked, all the things I disliked, and kind of the stuff that I'm iffy about, and broadcast it to the internet. So if you like these kind of videos, give this video a thumbs up. If you like me, please subscribe to my channel. I would love some more subscribers. And comment down below, do you like episode 3 of Star Wars? That's what we're talking about, I forgot to say. We're talking about Revenge of the Sith, so it's good stuff. So let's get crack-a-lacking. And as always, I have the light side, so the stuff I did like, the dark side, the stuff I don't like, and kind of the meh stuff. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, which are just the two of them, I will link the playlist. I can't remember what corner it's in again, but I'll link the playlist so you can catch up, or you can just watch this one. I don't care. Watch them however you want. So, the light side, the stuff I love. The entire opening sequence of this movie is absolutely stunning. It is just pure, unadulterated Star Wars, and I love it. Everything about it is so good. The banter, the CGI is really good. The way Anakin and Obi-Wan enter the battle with like the little synchronized flip or whatever they do is just like, that does so much story building to what their relationship is and how long they've been working together. The ruthlessness of the warfare, like, you see these clones who you can see their faces getting blown up, and you realize you are in a battle. There are high stakes from the get-go. The buzz droids are so cool. They're an interesting outside-of-the-box idea and concept, and their design is really cool, and the way they take out R4 is really cool. F in the chat for R4. Anakin saving Obi-Wan, even though Obi-Wan tells him to go, you can see how much Anakin cares for Obi-Wan, as well as how much he cares for the Jedi Code. So he really is, you're setting up his morality first thing in this movie, which makes his turn, spoiler alert, later in the movie just so much more shocking. The entrance into General Grievous's ship is just, oh, so good. It's like just final, perfect cherry on top of this excellent sequence that begins the best prequel movie. Let's put that out there. This is the best prequel movie. Yeah, Anakin and Obi-Wan's relationship with each other in this movie is really good. It's well set up, I feel like. It's more well set up if you've watched the Clone Wars, which I haven't watched them all the way through, but I have watched enough to really appreciate the history that these two men have and how they are related to each other and how they relate to the world through each other. And this movie gives you just so much without even like exposition. Like, you don't need to know all the battles that they went through, because that you can see how well they work together and how much fun they have together. Like, I love the little part where Anakin drops back down into the elevator and Obi-Wan ignites his lightsaber and then he goes, "Oh, it's you." Like, they are just having so much fun being together and working together, and it, like, the actors also are just a really big part of that, where you can see how much fun they're having, and it's a little cheesy, but it's good cheese. I like it. R2-D2, hands down the best character in all of Star Wars. There, I said it. Is he my favorite? No. Is he the best? Yes. This guy takes out 2 super battle droids, like, as if it's nothing. He is just ruthless. I love Tui so much. It just makes my heart happy to see him be able to hold his own. He is not just a dinky little astromech droid. He is like, even like when he takes out the buzz droid at the beginning of this movie, it is so funny. I love R2. Okay, so Anakin killing Dooku is really kind of the first step in this movie to Anakin's turning to the dark side. Because he lets his emotions, and he lets the Emperor, or not the, he's not the Emperor yet, he lets Chancellor Palpatine sway his decisions. And so you can see how much, without Obi-Wan's influence there, how much he trusts the Emperor. He's not the Emperor yet. How much he trusts the Chancellor, and how his desire for revenge is stronger than his desire for justice. And he immediately regrets it. And that's kind of the main theme in this movie up until Anakin's turn, is he's really grappling with the Jedi and the Sith because they're not all that different. Palpatine points it out a couple of different times in this movie especially, of like, they just choose to use their power in different ways. And while the Jedi are good, and the Jedi do good, they really are blinded by their own power and their own, by their own agenda. So that's what Anakin is really grappling with, and this is the first step of him really trusting the Emperor more than he's trusting the Jedi Code. It's not the Emperor yet. I'm just not even gonna say. He becomes the Emperor in this movie, okay? Just cut me some slack here. Again, this is where I have to mention the sound design. Guys, Star Wars sound design is just so fantastic. Let me just get it out of the way. It's just so good. The reason I wrote down sound design here especially is when Anakin beheads Dooku, and just this hissing sound of the lightsabers is just, oh, it's so, like, it really just brings finality into what Anakin has just done. And, you know, just all throughout the entire movie, and all throughout all of Star Wars, just the sound design is so impressive. So something I noticed in this movie is how Obi-Wan now really respects Anakin. And you see it if you watch the Clone Wars TV series, but you don't get a chance to see it in the movie very much, but just, it's night and day how Obi-Wan is treating Anakin now versus the second movie, where he is now respecting him as Anakin has come into his own. He's respecting him as a Jedi warrior instead of just an apprentice. He's respecting him as a friend and as a brother. And he is really letting him shine and letting him be his own person. Whereas at the beginning, especially in episode 2, he was really berating him and reminding him how he was an apprentice and how he was young. And now Anakin is this full Jedi warrior, and he is really just coming to his own, and Obi-Wan realizes that and respects that now, and treats him more as a friend instead of as an underling, which I really love. And Ewan McGregor really sells it too. It's great. Anakin and Padme's reunion. Guys, I'm such a sucker for love. And, well, it is really cheesy love. Their reunion, you really get the sense that they have not seen each other in months, and either of them really could have died at any point. So just like their reunion and being able to see each other again, and then Padme's preggers. Oh, and this is also one of the places I point to when people say that Hayden Christensen isn't a good actor. Again, dialogue, not great, but Hayden Christensen's face goes through every single emotion Anakin would have if he finds out that Padme is pregnant. Fear, joy, worry, just elation, just everything is just, you see it in a matter of seconds, and it's so perfect. Hayden Christensen's acting in this moment is just so good. You hear the Imperial March a lot in this movie, which I think is good. It's really undertones that this movie, which was the first PG-13 Star Wars movie before PG-13 meant something different, it really is a darker undertone, and you know what's gonna happen. Like, you know that Anakin eventually turns, and you hear the Imperial March throughout this entire movie, and that helps you, like, with your, you know, you know what's happening. And so just those little motifs of the Imperial March, especially as Anakin really begins to question where his loyalty should lie. Anakin and Obi-Wan's last conversation before Obi-Wan goes off to try and get Grievous. Man, there's so much left unsaid, and there's so much that is said, and you can really see these two Jedi warriors just like, they don't know that this is the last time that they'll see each other before Anakin kills some fools. But you can't, there is a finality to their relationship in this scene, and the fact that Anakin remains in the dark while Obi-Wan steps into the light really solidifies that they are going their separate ways for good, basically, until they meet again on Mustafar, and then until they meet again on the Death Star. So it's just really sad. I haven't talked a lot about the memes of this trilogy. I follow a lot of Star Wars meme accounts on Instagram, and God, it's just so memeable. It's so good. So, but I gotta talk about my favorite meme. Hello there. It's just so iconic, and the delivery, Obi-Wan is such a fantastic character, and you can really tell that Ewan McGregor is just having so much fun. Yeah, just, he's so, I love Obi-Wan so much. I think he is my favorite character of all of it. Like, it's just, he's so good. Hello there is so iconic. The entire Grievous fight is so cool and so creative. Like, when Grievous like is whipping all four of his lightsabers around like creating sparks, if I were Obi-Wan, I would have turned and run. Like, I could not handle that. But it's just so cool and so creative, and I'll talk about Grievous later. But the changing of the locations and the way Grievous ultimately goes out, and just, it's so creative, and it's like, how do you fight against a robot who's trained in your trade? And how can you push the robot to these, what can a robot do that, or I'm sorry, a cyborg. What can a cyborg do that a human can't? And I especially love the moment where like Obi-Wan tries to kick a Grievous and he hits his shit. Just the creativity of that scene in general is just so amazing. It's also just great Star Wars. Like, that scene is just so good. The moment Palpatine reveals himself. Oh my gosh. And you already kind of know, but when Anakin realizes it, that's really the kicker. And Palpatine has so meticulously planned out every single step of this plan to get Anakin to turn to the dark side. And you see him finally reveal himself, and Anakin doesn't immediately pledge allegiance to him. He says, Anakin goes off and tells the Jedi Council that Palpatine is the Sith Lord that they've been looking for. But it's so calculated, and it's so menacing. Like, Palpatine is such a great character, and there's a lot of thought put into how he revealed himself and how he's built up this plan up to this moment. The sunset contemplation scene, where Anakin's up in like the Jedi Council room and Padme's in her rooms, and they have this moment, and it's like the brilliant sunset, and the music, and Hayden Christensen, again, wordless acting is his forte, and you see the moment that he decides that he doesn't trust the Jedi anymore, and he's gonna go back after them to try and help Palpatine, or try and help the Jedi. We don't know what was going through his head, but he makes a decision in that moment, and he decides that Padme is worth more than any Jedi values, and it's just really heartbreaking, and especially to see Padme, like, feeling, she's not force sensitive, but you get a sense that she's really feeling Anakin's pain at that moment, and maybe even trying to contemplate their future together after she has her babies, and like, it's just a beautiful moment, and a great representation of what Star Wars can do without words. The birth of Darth Vader. Man. And we're not even talking about like when he gets the armor. It's like when he cuts off Mace Windu's hands and like realizes what he's done and realizes that he can't go back. And at this moment, he's just doing it to save Padme. But as he like really begins to sink into his decision, he realizes it's because he doesn't trust the Jedi. And then eventually he does tell Padme that he can overthrow the Emperor and he could rule the galaxy. So as he goes deeper and deeper into this decision to turn, he becomes more and more drunk with power. And you see that very clearly as Order 66 happens, and Order 66 is the next thing on my list. It's so beautifully tragic, especially if you've watched the Clone Wars and you've seen all of these characters be fleshed out. And loyalty is a really interesting concept that comes up a lot in Star Wars. And so the realization that the clone troopers are not loyal to the Jedi, they're loyal to the Republic, is why this makes sense. Because if they're told that the Jedi have become public enemy number one, they're gonna take them out. They're gonna do anything it takes to take them out. And canonically, there's a lot of Jedi that, or not a lot, there's a handful of Jedi that escape Order 66. There's the video game that I'm totally blanking on the name because I rage quit with the red-headed Jedi. Ahsoka makes it out. You know, it's really heartbreaking and hard to watch, but at the same time, it's just beautiful cinema. Like, it's, man, I remember watching it for the first time and like just this felt like there was this hole in my heart. It's just like, it's so beautifully tragic. I always cheer when the Separatists get taken out. What a bunch of scumbags. And I love kind of like not the joy, but how Anakin really revels in killing all of these awful people. Because I mean, he's hated them for a long time, and so now he gets to kill them. And just, you know, when he looks back and you see his yellow eyes and just like, you can really tell that this is his life now and he will do whatever it takes. And it's just such a good moment. The Battle of the Heroes is one of the most beautifully perfect Star Wars pieces of music ever. Go listen to it. It is just so incredible and perfectly captures, and I think it only shows up in episode 3, and it just perfectly captures what is happening at the moment, which is Obi-Wan and Anakin dueling, and how much is at stake at that moment. And it's just an absolutely gorgeous piece of music. Along with Across the Stars, I just listened to it on repeat. The final two battles are just so engaging. I have to say, I much more enjoy Anakin and Obi-Wan's than I do Palpatine's and Yoda's. I feel like there's more at stake with Obi-Wan and Anakin's. And while it's fun to watch these two greats go at it, I don't really like Yoda and Palpatine's fight, but the way they're juxtaposed and the return of Duel Fates, and just, you know, the stakes are sky high at this point. Like, we're talking about the fate of the entire Star Wars universe. Neither Yoda or Obi-Wan really succeed because while Obi-Wan does defeat Anakin, he doesn't kill him. And so Darth Vader still is able to exist, and Yoda straight up fails. Like, Yoda's supposed to be like this all-powerful person, and like, I have not seen him win once. So, I mean, what's that say about Yoda? I'm just saying. But yeah, it's just, I love the final fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan. And again, it's not just a battle, which the choreography alone is absolutely fantastic. And like, they're actually doing it, and they're like, Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor are actually doing it, and actually doing it that fast. Like, the swordplay in Star Wars never ceases to amaze me. But then they also add the element of like they're going through like where the separatists were, and they're going out and over the lava, and the stakes again are sky high, and just even the way it ends is kind of dumb. And I have the high ground doesn't make any sense. It's a great meme again. I love the meme of I have the high ground. But just it's so good. I love that scene so much. The juxtaposition of the death of Padme and the birth of Darth Vader in the suit, where it even might be like Anakin subconsciously using Padme's life force to hold on and to try and continue to live, and just it's so beautifully done with just the cinematography and the music and the scenery and the actors, of course. It's really interesting to see Anakin's, like, the birth of Darth Vader and then the death of Padme, and how connected these two are. And just, it's so beautifully tragic. Something I noticed this time around, as Luke and Leia are born and Padme names them, you hear their themes, which I thought was so cool, because it's like, this is the hope, like these are the new hope for for the Republic, and for life not under the tyrannical rule of the Empire. And Padme doesn't know that, and Vader doesn't know that. Vader doesn't even know he has kids until the Emperor tells him. If you've ever seen how it should have ended, how Star Wars should have ended, it's really funny, because like Vader gets all excited about, it's like, I have a son, which really cracks me up. But yeah, it's perfect with, like, you can hear their little themes as they're born and named. And then Padme's funeral. It always gets me when it pans down and you see the necklace that Anakin made for her when they were kids. It's so sad. The thing that breaks my heart the most is whenever I see fan art of, like, what could have been if Anakin hadn't turned, and it's the worst, so. Oh man, what a sad movie. So now it's time for some stuff that I'm not a huge fan of. The love dialogue. No, it's because I'm so in love with you. So love has blinded you? It's like, has George Lucas ever been in love? What is that like? Who told him that it was okay to write this stuff? I don't know. It's so cringy. I really can't do it. Padme's role in this movie sucks. All she does is stand around barefoot and pregnant. Like, she literally gets to do, like, does literally nothing. She has the one good line in the movie. This is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause. That's all she gets to do. It sucks. Padme was screwed over in this movie. The constant undermining of Anakin is really frustrating, especially by the Jedi Council. It makes sense story-wise, but it's like, the Jedi are just straight up jerks in this movie. It's not, I mean, these are the people we're supposed to be rooting for, and at this point, it's like, I mean, you might as well be rooting for Anakin to turn over, because the Jedi suck. It's like, why even? Order 66, all of the Master Jedi go down like wimps. Seriously, every single one of them that they show. Don't even try to fight back. Like, bro, you're supposed to be highly trained to Jedi. You are supposed to, like, have these Force senses, and, like, yeah, I get that you're being betrayed by your own people, but, like, Yoda was able to sense it. I mean, I guess Yoda's all this all-powerful thing, but, like, every single Jedi goes down like a wimp. Like, come on, aren't you supposed to be good? It's really frustrating, especially, like, the Jedi that Mace Windu takes to try and capture Palpatine. They go down like that. It's dumb. I feel like they could have put some effort into showing that they tried to fight back until they were overwhelmed. Something that's always bothered me is Padme never looks pregnant with twins. She maybe looks like she's pregnant with one kid. like, they never actually make her look like she's pregnant with twins, which I guess it's supposed to be like this fake out. It's like, oh, she actually is having twins. But if you know the Star Wars universe, then you know that Luke and Leia are the son and daughter of Vader, and, you know, all that jazz. So just make her look pregnant. It's not that hard. Anakin has really weird, evil dialogue. That whole part when he's talking to Padme on Mustafar, it's like, it makes more sense than the love dialogue because George Lucas has probably never been evil. But it's just really sad that they wasted Hayden Christensen in this way by giving him such sucky dialogue. And I really hope whoever writes his dialogue for the Obi-Wan TV series really embraces how menacing he can be, because he just sounds stupid. Like, I'll be the first to admit it. This is not the best acting-wise, dialogue-wise, and I really think it's the dialogue and the directing's fault. Padme has such a BS cause of death. It's like, she died of a broken heart. It's like, she's perfectly healthy, but for some reason we're losing her. She's lost the will to live. What? Like, no. So that's why I have that theory of, like, Anakin is, like, drawing her life force to try and keep himself alive. Because you don't just die of a broken heart. That's stupid. No, this is stuff that I'm iffy on. I mean, I don't really have an opinion. I know it's divisive for other people, but it's, like, the fight with Dooku's okay. It has some fun stuff in it. It has some fun memes in it. I feel like it ends really anticlimactically, and I mean, again, Dooku has so much more of a character in the Clone Wars, but for him to go out, like, the way he does is, like, and, like, if you've seen I'm gonna spoil the last couple episodes of the last season of the Clone Wars just really fast, so if you haven't watched that, plug your ears. It's mentioned offhandedly to Ahsoka in the last, few episodes of the Clone Wars. Is like, oh yeah, Dooku's dead. Anakin killed him. I feel like there should have been more pomp and circumstance with that, but it's whatever. General Grievous is interesting. He's kind of annoying. His design is cool, the concept's cool. He's cool in the Clone Wars, but he's also just such a coward, and I guess it's like part of his personality is like his character is that he's a coward. I do like, but it is really creative, his design and like how he uses lightsabers, and his backstory is really interesting too. I just feel like the Clone Wars did a better job with him than in this movie, and I guess that's because the Clone Wars were able to flesh him out more, and this movie literally had for as long as Grievous survived. He's kind of like a one and done character, so alright, I'm gonna say something that might get me in trouble. Not a huge fan of the Tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. I feel like it's a great story and there's great acting in that scene, but I feel like it goes so slowly, and it kind of brings, like, it's important exposition, and it's kind of like, you kind of get Anakin's head turning of just like what the dark side has to offer, but it just is so slow. And then finally, Vader's no at the end of just everything when he finds out that Padme is dead is so funny. It's really out of place, but it's really funny that they paid James Earl Jones to do that, and B, that it's like, I don't know, but the visuals are cool, and you can really kind of feel his anguish, but it's just so cheesy. I love it so much. Yeah, this is such a good episode. It's just so perfectly Star Wars, and there's some cringy stuff in it. It's still a prequel movie. The CGI still is lacking, but the storytelling is amazing, and the action is amazing. The actors are amazing. Yeah, and it really wraps up well this first half of the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker, because ultimately, at least the prequel series and the original trilogy are really the tragedy of Anakin. We'll talk about the sequel trilogy when we get there, but it is just a perfect wrap-up to what has been building, and they call back everything, and it all makes sense. None of it is like out of left field, and it's just such a great movie. And yeah, it's really sad too. Like, I genuinely have a hard time watching this movie for about the second half when everything gets dark, because it's just so tragic. But it's great. I love it. I love Star Wars. So I'm gonna rank this one at the top, number 1. So I think I have 3, 2, 1 now as my ranking. As we get into the original trilogy, the ranking is gonna become a lot more difficult. I'm gonna really have to grapple with where I put things, but we'll get there when we get there. We get to the original trilogy. That's so exciting. The original trilogy is some of my first memories of Star Wars, and it'll be great to revisit it. So again, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my Star Wars stuff, then just hit the subscribe button. Comment below. Do you like Revenge of the Sith? What's your favorite part? What's your least favorite part? Do you think the Jedi should not have gone out the way they did? Because they're kind of wimps. And I will see you on the next one. Bye everyone. May the Force be with you.